Happy, magical, miracle-filled Monday to you. So I'm super excited to be talking to you today about something that has been very helpful in my reality, and I have to give credit where credit's due. I first learned about this from my teachers, Ron and Mary Holnick, doctors Ron and Mary Holnick at the University of Santa Monica many years ago. And they said something so revelatory when I first stepped into their classroom. They said, anytime you say, I'm upset because, you're actually giving your power away. It's a victim posture. And as long as you stay in that posture, it's pretty much guaranteed that nothing is going to change. So what we want to do is when we're in our upset is to have that awareness. I'm upset. And upset is an internal experience. It's an internal reality, right? So what we want to do when we're in upset is not just stay there and keep pointing the finger outward about why we're upset and who we're upset with and going into the story. What we want to do is start to get to the place of going inward and really taking responsibility for our feeling state. So typically beneath our upset is pain from our past. I'm going to give you a little example of something that happened in my life recently and how I unraveled it. So I was upset because a particular person that I thought was a friend in my life took advantage of me. She, I think she stole a little bit, she lied a little bit, and this is after me spending a lot of time and energy being very generous with her. I was generous energetically, I was generous financially, I was generous in about every way I thought I could be. And I expected her, hey Natalie Boyer, how are you? I expected my friend, because I was so generous with her, to be grateful. I expected her to be generous with me, right? And it was confusing that she didn't seem to be grateful. And this brought up upset for me. And so I had to sit down and do this exercise form with myself. And I wrote down, I'm upset because. So anytime you're an upset, I think this is a really powerful practice. Get out a piece of paper and a pen and write down, I'm upset because. And then you can go into why you're in upset. So I was in upset because she took advantage. She stole from me. She lied to me. I was such a good friend. I was so generous. And I didn't get any of those things back. You know, in friendships, oh, you're so sweet, honey. You're on a train in Paris. That's crazy. This is so cool, isn't it? So, you know, in authentic friendships, you want it to be a giving and receiving, right? You want it to be a fair exchange of energy. And I've become pretty discerning in my life, but I was very charmed by this girl, and I thought she knew a lot more than I did about some things that matter a lot to me. So I essentially put her on a little bit of a pedestal, and I thought I promoted her right away. I talk a lot about having a bullseye or a ring, and to be discerning about who you let really close to you in your life. And she was somebody I promoted right away and let her in really close right away. So I was very generous right out of the gate, and I wasn't receiving anything in return. And this brought up upset for me. I'm upset because I'm giving, I'm generous, I'm not receiving anything in return. So what is beneath this feeling state? I'm feeling unappreciated. I'm feeling disrespected. I'm feeling a little bit ashamed or angry. So I got in touch with my own feelings beneath the upset that I was experiencing through this relationship. And then we have to ask ourselves, when have I felt this before? Because typically if we're in a lot of upset, and especially if it's out of proportion for what's going on, it means there's an earlier wounding. There's a line of energy that probably goes back to an earlier time in our life that we would benefit from becoming aware of and bringing our current love and compassion to. Something I've learned that is very true. Beneath anger or upset is hurt. Beneath hurt, if we can keep doing our inner work, is love. So as I had this experience of upset with this girl, I could still be mad at her and make her wrong because, well, she was. But I want to feel better. I want to take responsibility for my inner reality. And as I do, my outer reality will shift. That's the principle. That's the tenet of becoming the spiritual seeker. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all things will be added unto thee. Turn inward, unravel your own hurt and upset. Get beneath the anger and the upset to the place of love, and then our lives will shift. Our lives will transform in seemingly miraculous ways. So as I worked on my internal upset and I carried the line of energy back to when I was younger, there were a couple of times in my life that I felt very disrespected, that I felt like I gave more than I received, and I was very hurt, felt that sense of betrayal. So to bring my current love and compassion to this situation and to this younger part of me that had those experiences, and to be able to say, you know what? I know you're hurting, but you're seen, you are loved, you are adored. Just relax into that feeling state and know that. Because despite any upset we're experiencing in our lives, no matter how big or small, there is a place of peace, of calm, of love, of sweetness, of kindness inside of yourself. Hey, Bear T, Alaska, that's so amazing. So even if we don't feel it, to intellectually know this can give us an opportunity to take greater responsibility to settle into that place when we're in upset. And sometimes it can take some work. That's why I'm recommending get the piece of paper out and a pen out. Start expressing what you're upset about, because sometimes we need to purge those emotions. Sometimes we need to get them up and out of ourselves so that we can start to relax into that feeling state of greater Kansas, yay, greater peace and sweetness and kindness and grace within. It's so good to see you, George. I adore you with my whole heart, Papa Bear. So if you want, get that piece of paper out. I'm upset because this happened, that happened, this happened, that happened. And then how does that make you feel? What you don't want to say is they made me feel this way. And you can, that can be a step along the process. But then to bring it back to, I feel hurt. I feel disrespected. I feel unappreciated. So the question becomes, how have you felt that way in the past? And how can you have a conversation with that part of yourself that felt that way in the past? And the other part of it is, how do you treat yourself that way? How do you treat yourself maybe in a disrespectful way or an unappreciative way? How can you bring this energy back to your relationship with you? And then your relationship with your soul and source. Because again, beneath anger is hurt, beneath hurt is love. And all of our pain, this again comes from Ron and Mary Hilnick, all of our pain comes from our perceived disconnection from God. Another way of saying that, all of our pain comes from our perceived disconnection from love. Despite anything that's happening outside of us, there is a place of love. There is a place within where we can connect with our higher self, source, and God. So we can, hey, Anna Butler, I love you too, and I appreciate you. So we can stay in our upset about that person out there and that situation out there, that lawsuit out there, or whatever it is that's upsetting you. We can stay in that anger and that positionality, if you will, of I'm right and they're wrong, I'm good and they're bad. You can stay there because it's a planet of duality. We can stay there, but eventually, hopefully, we get to a place in our consciousness where we realize, I don't want to stay here anymore. I want to get to that place of peace, and I want to go higher. I want to get to that place of relaxation and equanimity and love. So we don't have to have anyone be any different than they are for us to take responsibility to get back to that place. That is becoming empowered. That is building our spiritual muscle. And everything we want actually comes from that. Our life is a reflection of our inner state. But if we don't take responsibility for our inner state, the reflection of our life isn't going to change that much. So again, we can stay in that place of tit for tat. I'm right, you're wrong. And we can fight with them and we can keep them on the hook. And that really just continues to perpetuate that experience, that karma, if you will. But as soon as we decide to pull our energy back, take responsibility for our inner state, to reconnect with love and with spirit, what I've seen happen, and what actually happened in my situation, is that they vibed themselves right out of your life. This person vibed herself right out of my life. So as we take responsibility for our inner reality, we raise in our vibration. And I always say, I've said this before, you may have heard it, shift happens, right? Fork off. So as I take responsibility, come back for my take responsibility for my vibration, my inner reality, my upset, and getting beneath that upset. I could see the situation more clearly. And then it's sort of like that situation just left. Another opportunity came forward for me to learn from somebody else, to be in another situation that was a much improved situation and vibration. And this person has just left my life. And I'm no longer in that place of upset. I'm in a place of compassion. Because this girl doesn't know how to be in her loving and in her state of gracious receiving. She's a taker. And that means she's in fear because she doesn't believe in her innate worthiness and the enoughness of life. So if people are stealing and groveling and taking and lying, it's because they're disconnected from their own source of worthiness, value, and love. They're disconnected from their soul and from God. And that deserves compassion, right? But I was so confused, I couldn't remember that. I couldn't feel that because I was in my upset. And like I said, I could continue to be in my upset, but what feels a lot better, and maybe not initially, it doesn't feel better because we want to be right. We want to be able to get our friends and say, look how bad that person is, or look what's happening to me. That victim posture can feel good for about this long. But I know enough to know that it's not a long-term fix. It's not a long-term place that I'm going to want to stay. You know, so as I've learned to pull my energy back and take responsibility for my own hurt, my own upset, my own pain, my own confusion. And again, we heal when we bring love and compassion to the places inside that hurt. We can't wait for someone to do that for us. It may never happen. And even if they do, it's not really going to fix anything. We need to be able to do this for and within ourselves. So, Bear T, you are right. I've been there. Love this message. It's completely true. It starts shifting and it's amazing. It really is so miraculous. Hi, Bob Carey. So needed this message for myself. I'm so honored by that. I mean, this is why I do this, because I want to share what I know has worked with me, for me, and just be able to make it very accessible, very clear, which I feel like life is pretty clear at this point. I still have my challenges. This is a recent situation, but I do feel as we work this muscle and we start to have access to these tools, things get easier. What used to devastate me and bring me to my knees for years now only kind of like makes me stumble for a minute, and maybe I'm in some discomfort or confusion for a couple of weeks. So a friend of mine was complaining about how she's like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm in this situation again. It's different people, but it's the same story. And I said, but can you see how there's an improved vibration? Because I've been working with her about her inner reality and gave her my book and such. And I said, so that last situation you were in it for 3 years. And then this situation was 3 months. And now you're in this situation for 3 weeks, and then 3 days, and then 3 hours, 3 minutes, 3 seconds, and then it's out of your energy field. Rarely do we go from something that's really intense and horrifying and brings us to our knees and stepping out of that, and then it completely being out of our reality. We bring our vibration with us no matter where we go. So even if we completely walk away from this person that's disrespected us, if we haven't done the inner work, if we haven't brought love and compassion to the places inside that hurt, if we haven't dealt with our own past hurts or our own disconnection from love, if we still have fear, if we still have angst, we're going to manifest somebody else that has that same vibration, or another situation that's very similar. Have you noticed sometimes you have patterns in your life? There's information in those patterns. And if we can have the presence of mind to go, okay, what is it my soul wants me to learn or know? And in my situation, it was like, be discerning, love yourself first, trust your intuition, keep reconnecting with your heart. For me, it's about setting that intention all the time to come back to my heart and to love. And essentially that means to God. Yes, I talk about God a lot. And I know a lot of people have post-traumatic God disorder from maybe church. I know I did. But you can use whatever word you want. Love, the universe, creative intelligence, nature, whatever word you can use to make friends with that energy that's beating your heart and breathing you. because trust me, it's on your side. And the more you can just settle into that awareness, the more life can show up in a way that is so supportive and loving and kind, because you're a child of this energy. You are an aspect of this energy, and it does not wish you anything but love. But we have to be able to open our minds to knowing this and understanding this, to realize all things are happening for your learning and upliftment and growth. All things that are happening, despite what it might look like or feel like, is really in support of you ascending in your consciousness and in your ability to love yourself and be a loving presence in the world. So I hope that makes a little bit of sense to you. So it just boils down to this. Anytime you're in upset, I'm upset because, you can get very clear within yourself. You can write down pages and pages of this. I actually have some questions. If you want me to send them to you, I will. It's a series of questions. I'm upset because, fill that out. What are you upset about? I feel, then I feel like what? I'm upset because, and then number 2, they made me feel, or it makes me feel this way. Then, have you felt that way in the past? Have you felt that way in the past? And what's beneath those feelings? Is it sadness? Is it hurt? And then remember, beneath hurt is love. And as you bring your current love and compassion to that younger part of you, or those memories from the past, it starts to soften. The anger starts to soften. The upset starts to soften. And then give yourself permission to settle into that place of compassion and peace and love within. And despite the storms that are happening in your life, give yourself a moment of reprieve. And then ask yourself, what does my soul want me to learn from this situation? And when we learn our soul's lessons from our challenges, it seems those challenges either dissipate, they can go away, shift is happening. The girl that I was so upset with moved away from the community, and I found another situation, an opportunity that was absolutely perfect for me. But if I would have stayed in upset, I think that dance, that painful dance, would have continued. But because I pulled my energy back and took responsibility for my inner state, going beneath the upset, getting to the place of love and compassion for me, now I authentically have it for her. Because she's going to take that vibration with her. When we really forgive them, when we really forgive ourselves, we are free from our karma and make the space for grace and goodness and support. And then we let them, whoever is upsetting us, let them have their karma and make that between them and God. It's no longer any of our business. It doesn't need to be. We can really get to that higher state of just compassion for them, compassion for ourselves, and then again, make that space for grace and goodness, divine support, miracles and blessings that are available to us if we can get out of our own way, if we can heal our own inner upset. Once we dissolve it, once we remove those layers, and it happens in layers again, things don't go from all the way in to all the way out. It happens in layers. But as we are diligent and consistent and continue to take personal responsibility for our inner reality, life can continue to get better and better and better and better. And then you will start to see the God winks. You will start to feel the support and the unconditional love that has created you and that is responsible for the animation of the planet. And wow, that is heaven on earth. That is heaven on earth. And I'm experiencing it more and more in my life. And my hope and desire and intention is to support you in getting to that place, form within yourself more and more and more in your life. So initially you may just experience it for a moment here and there, but those moments can start stringing together, and then it can be hours, and then it can be days, and then it can be weeks and months. And so if I can support you in any way, let me know. I can send over this series of questions for you to go through if you're upset about anything in your life, and maybe it can support you in going through this process and getting to the deeper state of equanimity and peace and love and grace and goodness inside of yourself. And then I promise you, your life is going to continue to shift in positive, powerful, and empowered ways. So I hope this makes a little bit of sense to you. Maybe there was a little tiny nugget here or there that you can use within yourself, or that brings things kind of into focus a little bit for you. And if not, ask me any questions that you would like me to be able to answer or support you with, either here on the thread or private message me, because I've done a lot of work to get to the place of greater grace. And now my intention is, again, to help as many people as I can get to this higher place, because it's fun. And I'm having fun here alone, but it's more fun when I have my friends with me. And you are my friend. And I do adore and appreciate you. Thank you, Anna. Yeah, and it is. I say reminders, whether I'm in a session with somebody or calling a friend, I say it's about giving our minds back to each other. The mind of awareness and clarity. And all the time when people come to see me, it's like, I just feel more clear. I feel more peaceful. That's how I like to roll, living from that place of peace and equanimity and clarity and great love. So again, if there's anything I can do to support you, if you have any questions, if you'd like me to send over this list of questions for you to deal with your own upset, it would be my honor, pleasure, and privilege. And again, I'm just so grateful that you chose to spend a little time with me here today. And life is sure wonderful. Life is sure good. And you are a God wink from me. Years ago when I was struggling so much, God said, just heal your own hurts. And then you're going to be able to show and tell people how you healed your hurts. And you'll be able to journey forward together. And my intention is to support you in becoming the brightest light worker that you can be, which is immensely bright. You can heal the world from the inside out if you choose to come back to your heart and your soul, heal your hurts, relax into that place of beauty, kindness, equanimity, inspiration, intuition, creativity within. Everything you want comes from you doing that, doing this inner work and getting back to your heart and soul. So God bless you. I adore you. And I so look forward to connecting with you again next week and through the week. If you want to be in touch with me, email me, tammybphd@gmail.com, or here on Facebook. And know that you're in my heart, my meditation, and my prayers. And I'm just so grateful for your energetic presence in my life. I cannot tell you how grateful I am for you. You make my life make a lot more sense. So take good, gentle, loving, compassionate care of yourself, and just be in touch. Okay? God bless you. And I love you. Onward and upward. Bye for now.